Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was the last Shah of Iran. He is also known as the last Persian emperor. In 1979, after a revolution took place in the country and the monarchy was abolished, the Shah had to flee to a foreign country with his wife and children. For 44 years, the descendants of the Shah have been living abroad and still dream of returning to their homeland. One of the most prominent members of the Iranian royal family is his granddaughter, Princess Noor. She is already 31 years old, and you will be amazed by her rare beauty. Keep watching the Wow channel. The Pahlavi was the last Iranian royal dynasty, ruling 54 years, from 1925 to 1979. Of these, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who is called the last Shah of Iran, ruled the country for almost 48 years. He is remembered for introducing a series of economic, political, and social reforms to transform Iran into a world power. The reforms led to significant economic growth and made Iran one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Iran's army was considered the fifth strongest in the world. The country also had significant achievements in social life. For example, Iranian women had the same rights as ladies in all developed countries. They held important positions at work and dressed like Europeans, wearing bright suits and short skirts. The reign of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi also had many negative aspects. He was an authoritarian ruler with absolute power and didn't allow anyone to interfere in his affairs. In 1967, he declared himself emperor, or king of kings, and held a grand coronation in his honor. In 1971, he marked the anniversary of 2,500 years of continuous Persian monarchy. It was a grand event that attracted the elite from all over the world. Such a large-scale celebration required incredible amounts of money. $90 million was spent on this feast, which today equals over $516 million. Foreign guests, of course, were delighted, but local residents were highly outraged with the lavish spending of the Iranian Shah. The contrast between the luxurious celebration and the poverty of the surrounding villages was so striking that it caused a great scandal. Despite remarkable economic growth, most people in Iran lived in poverty and were angry about this event. In protest, university students went on strike. However, the Shah believed this event helped him strengthen ties with other countries and attract new investment. At that time, the Shah of Iran was one of the wealthiest people in the world. His personal fortune was estimated in the 70s at about $1 billion. Such amounts were accumulated thanks to the dilution of state and royal funds. All royal family members received shares in all major enterprises in Iran. Thanks to this, they created huge assets. So the country had grand corruption, and besides, the majority of residents continued to adhere to traditional religious views despite the reforms. Some of them could not accept the fact that Iranian women received the right to vote and could participate equally in the country's life with men. The Shah's opponents tried to kill him several times but failed. During the last years of his reign, the Shah was being treated for cancer. So due to his illness, he became lethargic and indecisive, cancelled business trips, and abandoned state affairs. The conspirators took advantage of this to seize power and return to the patriarchal way of life. As a result, the discontent of the conspirators resulted in a revolution that occurred in 1979. The Shah, his wife, and his children had to flee abroad. For many months, they wandered around the world for refuge. They lived in Egypt, Morocco, Panama, and the USA. At the same time, the life of members of the royal family cannot be called difficult. After fleeing abroad, they made large deposits in Swiss banks and bought luxury properties in London, New York, and California. Just a year after his exile, the Shah died of cancer and was buried in Egypt. His oldest son, Reza Pahlavi, who was 20 years old, received the title Crown Prince of Iran. He declared himself the new king of Iran, Reza Shah II, and the rightful successor to the throne of the Pahlavi dynasty. He also became the leader of the Iranian immigration and founded the self-styled National Council of Iran, an exiled opposition group. Reza Pahlavi settled in America and married a native of Iran, Yasmin Itimad Amini. They raised 3 daughters in this marriage, Princess Noor, Princess Iman, and Princess Farah. Today, Reza Pahlavi is involved in politics and is the most prominent critic and opponent of the ruling regime in Iran. His daughters support his views and still value their Persian heritage. Princesses experienced an upbringing quite different than their fathers in Tehran. The oldest of them was born in Washington and grew up without the perks that royals usually enjoy. It also sends the heavy burden of eventually leading an entire nation. His most famous daughter is Princess Noor, who is the oldest one. She was born in 1992 and was the first immediate member of the Iranian royal family to be born out of her native country. After graduating high school from Abolished School in Potomac, Maryland, Noor pursued an undergraduate degree in psychology at Georgetown University. She also studied at Columbia University and is now an advisor at Acumen, a global non-profit impact investment company. The Iranian princess lives in a wealthy society in New York. She often attends fashion events and popular contemporary art exhibitions and travels frequently. Noor knows how to dress beautifully and elegantly. She appeared on the covers of magazines such as Harper's Bazaar Arabia and Cosmopolitan Indonesia. The girl often attends fashion shows and loves to wear evening dresses to receptions. However, in everyday life she prefers the casual style of an ordinary New Yorker and wears jeans with t-shirts. Noor inherited her love of fashion and beauty from her grandmother, Queen Farah Pahlavi, who loved luxurious outfits and expensive jewelry. Noor once said about her beloved granny, "She's introduced me to some of the major designers today, many of whom are her friends, but she also inspired me to support up-and-coming designers." Princess Noor really has an incredibly beautiful model appearance, and she's probably often invited to pose for fashion magazines. However, she devotes most of her time to activism. The girl has never been to Iran, but judging by her Instagram page, she is very concerned about the life of this country. She dreams that Iran will be free one day, and women will once again have the right to wear what they want and control their lives. Princess Noor today is perhaps the most beautiful granddaughter of the last Iranian Shah. She is very similar to her grandmother, the last Empress of Iran, Farah Pahlavi. By the way, they have a very good relationship and sometimes attend social events together. We must admit that the 84-year-old last Empress of Iran still looks beautiful. She wears smart business suits and is still full of strength and energy. For example, Farah Pahlavi and her 31-year-old granddaughter recently met with Senator Bruno Retailleau at the French Senate before a conference he organized entitled Femmes, Vie, Liberté, which protects the rights of religious minorities. They discussed the ongoing revolution and events in Iran. We also discussed measures the international community can take to hold the regime accountable and support Iran's people, whose fight for human rights is deeply aligned with all that France prides itself on standing for, Princess Noor wrote on her Instagram. The princess maintains close connections to her Iranian heritage, regularly writing and engaging with articles on medium.com, where she discusses political issues in both English and Persian. As you can see, the granddaughter of the last Shah of Iran is very involved in the life of her country, even though she has never been there and has lived all her life in the USA. Noor is an active member of the Iranian American community and often goes to protests. All I can do is cherish the Iranian values I have, take them with me, and appreciate the freedom I have in America to be all the things I want to be, she wrote on Instagram. The last time, for example, she was present at a rally in New York where they remembered Mother Gina Amini, whose tragic death ignited a flame of resistance against the oppressive Islamic Republic and sparked a revolution. The girl called on the international community to unite and stand up for the Iranian people. In her opinion, in this case, there is no other solution other than revolution. Princess Noor has almost 1 million followers on Instagram, and she uses her popularity primarily to tell her audience about the problems in Iran and the struggle for people's rights in this country. Most of her recent posts focus on political activism. The girl hopes peace will return to Iran and dreams of coming to her native country and walking freely along its streets. Most of all, I have hope for the future of Iran. It will be a place for all Iranians where our nation's beauty and culture will be respected, where its still wildlife and environment will be protected and treasured, writes Noor. By the way, many Iranians still consider Noor a member of the imperial family and the legitimate heir to the throne, so they listen to her statements. When it comes to her personal life, Noor is probably single. At least there is no information about her husband and children in the open sources. But recently, her younger 30-year-old sister Iman got engaged to her boyfriend Bradley Sherman, who works in finance. Soon a happy event will happen. The whole family is waiting for the moment when they can celebrate the wedding. They also dream that someday they will be able to return home. Do you believe that they will ever achieve their goal? Thanks for watching. Remember to share your thoughts with me. Click like and subscribe. See you next time.